730 the Two Dumb Yinzers. I want to welcome everybody back today on this very special Tuesday installment of the show. First of all, I want to say good morning to Mike. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good. I'm excited for today's episode.
Yeah, me too. This is one that's been a kind of a long time coming for me. There's two things that I love about the springtime, and of course the Steelers aren't playing, so it has to be something other than the Steelers, of course. I love the draft in the NFL because, of course, we see who we are going to be getting on our football team. And the other thing that I've just recently became in love with in the springtime is watching the Pittsburgh Passion, the female all-women football team, the professional pro football team right here in Pittsburgh. And just as of the last couple seasons, I've really took to because they started really. It seems to me that they started pressing more, getting stuff out on the media and on social media and things like that. And it's been it's been a lot of fun following these guys, gals. I'm sorry, they're really good. And we have a special guest today. And if it wasn't for her, now don't get me wrong, it's a team sport. They're a really good team, but I just want to introduce everybody. The guest this morning it was the National Conference MVP of the 2024 football season for the Pittsburgh Passion. She led the team to a 6-0 record. She did amazing things on the field, put amazing numbers up on the field, and as I said, had an MVP season. There's really not much that you could say after that. There's so much to say, but let's welcome our guest this morning, Makai Chavez. Good morning and welcome to the Two Dumb Yinzers.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to see you, and we want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I've been wanting to talk to you for some time now. Again, let me start with the obvious question. So, from what I'm going back and I'm reading on your information, you spent about 8 years playing for the Tampa Bay Inferno.
Yeah, I played for them for quite a few seasons, and then COVID happened during the time that I had moved up here to play for Pittsburgh Passion, and Passion didn't have a team that following season, so I played for them one more year after COVID.
Okay. Ain't it weird that every story that basically everybody has to tell these days, it always, at some point, you hear that, when COVID happened. Some people, it did really great things for people that, weren't really doing what they loved in life. Maybe that was a bit of a wake up and they said, you know what, let me go do what I love to do. And, and you love to see it because you get more creativity out of people and you get to see more out of more people. And that's really exciting. And Makai, this is certainly no different because I noted earlier that you came from Tampa Bay. Now that's a crazy jump for a lot of people because here in Pennsylvania, especially Western Pennsylvania, the weather might make one say, Makai, what makes you come from Tampa Bay where the weather's pretty much always perfect, right, to Western Pennsylvania?
So I actually grew up in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, for quite a few years, and then in high school I moved down to Florida and found out that they had a team down there. But I had heard about Pittsburgh Passion. I think it was 2004 was when I heard about them, and I ended up actually going to a quarterback clinic that I believe that year that was held at Clarion University.
Okay.
So I had known about Passion for a while, and then my family moved to Florida, and then I love the weather in Florida, but I don't like the heat.
Yeah.
So I moved back to Pennsylvania, and I love living here now.
And I mean, and a lot of people say that because, I mean, of course, you being from both places, there is a Grand Stream line that goes from Pennsylvania to Florida. A lot of people either move down there from here and vice versa. So, I mean, it's not a real big surprise, but a young athlete like yourself, I just think, geez, oh man, you're trading the Tampa Bay weather for Pittsburgh. But you know what, at the end of the day, and I got to say, by watching you play, some people are just meant to be Pittsburgh athletes. And you certainly fit the mold, Makai, because let me tell you, we got our guest Makai on, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. No, Makai, but what I see from you is you have an X factor. When I watch you play on Saturdays, there's a certain something that you can't describe about certain players, but they just have it. You can't teach it, you can't obtain it. You either have it or you don't. And this is one thing that I noticed about your play, certainly last year. I mean, you dominated. Nobody could touch Makai Chavez. And I just said to myself, this woman has it. She has it. We're always looking for the guys on to come play for the Steelers that have that it factor. It's hard to find. It's hard to find a natural person that plays their position at their sport and they do it at the top of their game. Makai, you are unbelievable. I got to be honest. Not only you do it with your arm, you have amazing. Once you start scrambling and move around, you're almost impossible to stop. You just have this uncanny knack of playing football, getting your nose in it, and getting downfield. And I got to be honest. Again, we had a really great football team, the Passion, but without Makai Chavez, I wonder where we would be. Very grateful to have you. We are coming up on the new season, Makai, this Saturday, and it's no coincidence that here we are going back down to Tampa Bay to play your former team in your former hometown. What does that mean to you? Because of course you did it last year, and you had a couple times playing these guys. But what's it mean to you this season, coming off an MVP campaign, to go back down home and get another chance at these guys?
I always love playing Tampa. We have a great rapport with them. We they came the owner and general manager came from Pittsburgh Passion. So
Oh wow!
our dynamic with them is phenomenal regardless. But when I get to go home and play football where it all started, with the team that it actually all started from years and years ago, there's something very special about that for me because I get to be around the family that is still down there and play with the team that I love to be a part of. And it just means a lot to be able to do that still.
That's awesome. You know what I mean? And a lot of time, even in the pros, guys, they don't get to do it. They don't get to go back to their hometowns because of the way things are regionally and how, where their team is set up. This is perfect. You guys get Tampa Bay, once down there, of course, and then once up here. So you get to see the team at least twice a season. And
Yeah.
I seen what you did to your former team last year, and I cannot wait to see what you got in store for them this year, Makai. Let me ask you, as far as the team goes, how was there a much of a turnover in this offseason? In other words, did you lose a lot of gals from your team from last year, bring new players in? Is there a turnover, or do you guys have a lot of the same players still in place?
Um, I would say that there's always a change in from season to season. Uh, Rookies coming in, vets retiring, choosing a different life path. I would say that we've kept consistent players, and then we've seen a lot of good potential talent for our rookies. So yes and no. I think it all comes with each season.
Do you see? I mean, I don't know how long you guys been back at it, but as far as like a lot of the rookies you got coming in, maybe people coming in for a different place or whatnot. Is that anybody really grabbing your attention as far as the talent goes? Do you think that you could see some young sprouting buds with some of the new players coming in?
100%. I
Good.
think we have been very fortunate with talent this year. It's really, it's really a phenomenal process because being a part of Tampa for so long, you see a lot of good talent there too, coming in and out. Um, the athletes in Pittsburgh, they're just different. They're built differently, and that's across the board on all facets of the ball, whether you're a lineman, whether you're on offense or defense as a lineman, your skills player, everything. So yes, there's definitely quite a few of the rookies, I would say, a great group of them that I see so much talent from from our first practice to now that has just been molded and guided to their full potential, and it will continue to be, and that's an awesome process to see.
That really is awesome, and to hear that, it's super awesome because I've been anticipating, Ask Mike. I here on the show, I've been talking about you guys for quite a few months, and I was kind of left with a sour taste in my mouth, as I'm sure you guys were, as the way the season ended last season after going 6-0, after having an amazing MVP caliber season, and then running into this team in the playoffs. We got to figure them out. I don't know how to do it, Makai, but we're going to figure out how to beat Boston eventually. But you guys, I mean, come on. This team is a lot of fun, and that's really encouraging to hear that you're saying about a lot of these new players coming in because I'm excited. I can't wait to see what we have and I can't wait to just carry it over from last year and see what you guys can do. And I'm looking at this schedule, Makai, and I got to be honest, I've never seen a schedule like this. I don't know if it's planned this way on purpose for travel reasons, but I'm looking at the schedule, and of course, we start off against Tampa Bay on the road, then we go to Philadelphia on the road, and then we go to DC on the road, and then we come home for Tampa, DC, and Cincinnati. So stacking the 3 away games in the 3 home games is kind of a strange thing, but that's got to play to your advantage, because in the second half of the season, when you're playing down the stretch, you don't have to make so many adjustments. You have all these home games. You're not worrying about hitting the road on top of everything else you have to worry about to prepare for a football game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the schedule works out to however it can work for all of the teams.
Good.
So I think that it ended up being to where we play our away games first, which I'm not necessarily against. I mean, we get to go and establish our momentum and our synergy where we need to, and then we get to come home and establish it there too. So the goal really is to set the pace from the beginning wherever we're at.
Well, it is encouraging, and as I said, I mean, you get them away games out of the way. You go out on the road. You kind of build your cohesiveness back as a team on the road. Come back 3-0. And again, I'm not trying to jump the gun, but I'm just jumping the gun a little bit. And then you come back home to Pittsburgh, and you have your home games now. So you got the wins. You have a little bit of wiggle room just in case. And again, I'm not saying Boston on the schedule. So I do have a crystal ball here that I often refer to, but you know what? I'm not going to even refer to it today, Makai. I think that this team is going to do very well, and especially as you said, I mean, the turnover seemed to be good. A lot of these younger rookies, people that are just coming to the team, seem to be good additions to the squad, and that's always a plus. Is there anybody else in the league, Makai, that you look at and you say, or especially on the schedule, looking down the road? Because I'm not sure. I don't remember if Yinzers played Philly last year. I'm looking at the schedule, or Cincinnati, or how that played out. I know DC. I know Tampa. Is there anybody on the schedule that you're really looking forward to playing? Of course, the Tampa Bay connection, but anybody else that you're looking down the schedule and saying, "Oh, I cannot wait! I cannot wait to play Cincinnati." We'll say.
I'm really looking forward to playing Philly. I played Philly when I was with Tampa years and years ago, and we
Okay.
were in Division Two. So I'm looking forward to playing them. They had left the league and went to a different league, and now they're back in this one. So I'm interested to see the talent caliber there and just the dynamic between two different teams that I'm not sure have seen each other, specifically Passion and Philly,
Yeah.
when and if they ever have. But I'm also looking forward to playing DC. DC they've always had a consistent, um, obviously their quarterback, but a consistent great group of talented women. So I'm looking forward to um, taking them on this year again and seeing what we can do and how we can continue the run to championship.
And it's interesting, and as you said, I mean, teams like like DC. I mean, this is a team that we see every year, and you guys are building that, kind of these inner rivalries, because again, you see DC twice a year, you see Tampa Bay, twice a year. So I mean, I can imagine that's a lot of fun for you guys. And as you said, especially playing a team like Philadelphia, you like to see what kind of talent they got over on that side of the state. You clearly said that that the athletes in Pittsburgh kind of have they have a vibe, and what kind of better vibe than see both of those cities from Pennsylvania go head to head for football supremacy? So I certainly can't wait for that as well, Makai. Uh, what else do I got here? I do have a few questions for you, because I was just super excited. And like I said, I've been telling Mike this for months. I was like, I cannot wait. If I could get Makai Chavez on this show, it would be the best thing that could happen to me this spring. So it is great to have you aboard, Mike. Go ahead if you have anything. I'm gonna go through some of my notes here, brother.
Yeah, I have a question. Excuse the play on words coming up, but where did your passion for football come from?
So I grew up obviously in Punxsutawney, but I really grew up on like 20 miles away from Punxsutawney, and there's literally like maybe 300 people in that town at that point. I'm not even sure how many are in that town now, and there was a group of kids, and all we would do is just play backyard football. We would go down to one of the big areas, the big grass areas, and we would just play and play and play. And then my brother was the age that he could start playing pee wee football.
Mhm.
And I went with my family to that practice. And whenever we got to that practice, there was a girl playing on the team, one of the pee wee teams already. Me, I play in backyard football
Mhm.
every day during the summer, every time I can with a group of people. I see a girl on the team, and I was like, Mom, you gotta let me play. And she was like, What? And I was like, You can't tell me I can't play. There's a girl out there. So that's how it all started. And ever since then, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it playing backyard, but I fell in love with it when it was organized too. And I've been
Yeah.
playing since I was 10. So I'm 33 this year. I've been playing for 23 years, whether or not it's been tackle football, it's
Mhm.
been some form of organized sport, organized football, flag football in high school, because I moved down to Florida and it's a sanctioned sport down there
Okay.
for the high schools. But there's only been like 3 years out of the past 23 years that I've not played an
Wow.
organized football of some kind.
And Mike, I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying to her earlier. Was there's just an X factor. There's some things you can't
Yep.
teach. You never
And
had
that
to.
love of football. Yeah.
You never had to drag Makai down to the football field. You never had to drag her away from her video game to say, "Come on, we got to get down here to play some football." The fact that she was at every opportunity given out there playing football and wanting to get out there and beat the guys and beat everybody that was in front of her, that's what I think builds that X factor. That's something that you can't teach, but you can only learn. And as she said, in her early 30s, she's been doing this for so long. How can you duplicate that without the going through the process that she went through? I love the story, Makai.
Yeah. I think also too, I truly just love the game. Doesn't matter what position I'm at, it doesn't matter what I get to do. I really love learning. I love building my football IQ. I love every part of that. And I think when you have such a love and drive to keep learning about something you already know so much about, it just that can't be replicated either. And
You're right.
I see that. I think that's part of what I see in the rookies, and part of what I see. We always have the desire to keep learning. There's no, oh, I know it all. You can't teach me anymore. It's okay, teach me more about this so I can figure it out. And I see that part of our culture making such a difference in the way that we play and the way that we learn and the way that we adjust.
And that was going to be my next question. I mean, I got the update on the teammates, the roster, rookies coming in. But let me ask you, how's the vibe feel? I mean, there's a lot about vibe, Makai, and at the end of the day, you know, you can have the best football team on the field, and if you're not vibing, if you're not, you know, all playing well with one another, feeling it with one another, you know, then some days it just doesn't work out your way. How is the vibe of this team? Are all the ladies getting along? Is there a nice cohesiveness? And is there anything that I know that you don't want to get out and talk about any problems in the locker room, but is there anything that you need to improve your team? Of course, I mean in that sense. So I guess first question is, how's the vibe? How's the vibe of this season's Pittsburgh Passion squad?
I would say the culture is continuing to be we're just very locked in. We have a lot of synergy, so the culture continues to be that.
Good.
And I think even if it comes from the coaches, it comes from the owner, it comes from all of that, the team has to carry it out. And the team has to reflect that back into the coaches and the owner. There has to be that mutual respect of culture being appreciated. Um, I think that we gel really well together. I wouldn't say that there are often issues, but when there are, we're really good at communicating about it and making sure that one thing is this: if the perspective on this is one way, to make sure that everybody is aware of what that looks like in actuality, because everybody can have a different perspective. But I do think that anytime that we come to head with adversity in any aspect, whether we're away and we don't have the right uh, changing the locker rooms or
Right.
anything like that. Whether or not somebody didn't block when they needed to at practice, or somebody missed a tackle, or didn't run behind their block, anything, or I didn't throw to to the correct place, whatever it looks like. It's always very, hey, I was my bad and I got the next one. So, in finding a way to just go, like, okay, this is what happened, let's move on. Got to have that mentality when it comes to football and being successful.
And yeah, absolutely. And and that's one thing I was thinking as you're explaining that, Makai, is that's life in general, right? I mean, no matter
Hmm.
what we do, there's always going to be issues. There's always going to be some BS involved. And and what do they always say? It's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. And that seems to be the case. Indians guys have been doing that very well in creating this present culture on this football team. Um, let me get into a little bit about this Pittsburgh Passion football team. Now, you were here a couple seasons, so you were certainly involved when Mr. Franco Harris was still involved.
Yes.
Now, I obviously Franco Harris, meant so much to this team, and vice versa. Um, what did you learn about somebody that was such a? I mean, come on, let's be fair. In Pittsburgh, over since 1970 till now, there hasn't been many athletes on that same level as Franco, and on top of that, just being the person that he was and what he meant to the community in Pittsburgh. What was there that you took away from Franco Harris in that period of time when you got to spend with him?
I actually got to meet Franco back in 2016. We were Tampa was up here for a championship game in the Division Two, and at that point, we were holding, or Pittsburgh was holding the championship weekend here. So I broke my leg in that championship game. I snapped my tib and my fib,
Mm,
and I wanted to talk to Franco beforehand, and I did not get the opportunity before the game. I wanted to, but I chose not to because I wanted to focus on the game. And then when I broke my leg, I wasn't able to say hi to him or anything.
yeah.
So actually, the owner of Passion T worked with my coaches to be able to get him to come see me in my hospital room
Oh
whenever I was
wow.
there. So I got to experience the kind of man that Franco was before I even was a part of the team that he grew into being what it was. And
It,
he is just he is a gentle giant. There's no other person that I have met like him. He was servant leadership, man. He across the board, he was just kind and had conversations with me in the hospital room, and then after that being able to have a dynamic with him being a part of his team just meant so much more. And then being able to still be in his family's life through this process, it's you can see the kind of person he was and the way that he impacted people. And there's I'm it's a bit those are big shoes to fill,
yeah,
truly, as a athlete and a human being.
well, I got to tell you, you bring some of the same things that Franco brought to the football field, because when I watch you play, there's always the feeling that I feel that our football team stands a chance as long as Makai Chavez is on the field. But that's an amazing story because again, that's not the way you wanted to meet Franco. You had this opportunity. You know what? I'm focusing on the game. I'll meet him after, and then things played out the way they did, and then you ultimately get to meet him in the hospital. So I mean, at the end of the day, the story is even better as you get to tell it over the years. But you're not off at all. I mean, the guy was amazing, adored by. I mean, come on, if you can find anybody in Western Pennsylvania that don't adore. I'm sorry, Mr. Franco Harris. I would be very surprised. And so certainly amazing things that he was able to do and do for this team and keeping this team together. And I can only imagine for somebody like yourself, playing down in Tampa, being from Pittsburgh originally, and just getting that opportunity to meet Franco Harris would be, just a great experience. So I'm glad that played out for you. I mean, not quite again the way that you would like it to, but ultimately getting to meet Franco and talk to him in that sense, and having him just having that heart to heart with him had to be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
A couple of other things I do want to ask you real quick here. Now, you guys playing home field games at Slippery Rock this year? Because I know,
Yes.
okay, because we switched it up and we were going West Allegheny, Slippery Rock. Excuse me. So the 3 home games will all be Slippery Rock then.
Yes, they will be.
Okay, that's awesome. I like that. It's a nice shot right up the highway, and and a lot of things too. I one thing, like I said last season, you guys really were being pushed on YouTube. I don't know if what you guys have going on with your organization. Came up with this idea. Let's get these white ladies out there so people can see what the great things they're doing on a football field. And I thought it was amazing. Every week there was no missing the Pittsburgh Passion games. If I drawed it up on my TV and sat there and watched the game for 2.5 hours, that's what it was. But again, Makai, just amazing to see what you could do on the field, not only with your arm, with your legs, but at the end of the day, as we said, it's up here. You got that X factor. You can bring that. And anytime that you're on that football field, I really feel that we have a chance to win, and not only win, a lot of times win big. Mike, what do you think?
I do have a question here real quick. Are you available to head up to Latrobe and compete for the Steelers starting job? Can you throw your hat in the ring, please?
I would love to be able to do that. I think I'm about 1.5 feet too short.
Hey, we won Russell Wilson last year. You might not be that far off.
Kyle, Bryce Young down in Carolina, he's, 5'9". You're close. You're close. You can handle it.
Yeah. Hey, as long as I could see where I'm throwing, that would be fine.
Brock Purdy said, 40% of the time he can't see over his guys either. So, we'll make it work. I'm sure you can.
So we got into a little bit about the passion. We got into a little bit about the connection between Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh. Now let's pat ourselves on the back a little bit, Makai. Let's talk about your MVP season. Unbelievable. Every week I tuned in. I just, again, you're just amazing on the field. Such a blessing to have on this football team. As this season's going on, what goes through the head of somebody that's having an MVP season? Are you recognizing as it's happening, or are you just going out and saying, you know what, we just got to go out and find out ways to win football games, and it just happens because you bring what you bring to the table? Tell us a little bit about that MVP season last year, Makai.
Well, I will say that I did break my bone last year.
That's right.
And to be able to come back in 4 weeks, although I did not play the best game that I possibly could have when I did come back, it gave me a different perspective on resilience and support, because the amount of support that I had to be able to try to get me as healthy as possible to be able to come back was there. That can't be touched. I was supported not just by the owner of the team, but my coaches, my family, my friends, my teammates, everybody. There was not anybody who wasn't supporting me to try to get to the best place that I could. I really am lucky in that aspect. But I gotta say, when it comes to actually being in a season where you end up getting MVP, no, I'm not aware that's happening.
Yeah.
I'm not aware that what I'm doing is that different, because I'm just playing. I try to be as present as possible when I'm playing football, and to know that I threw for this much, or I ran this much, or I got this many touchdowns, yes, that is phenomenal. But that's not what I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about playing the best game that I possibly can.
So Makai, you're basically sleepwalking through an MVP season. It takes everything I have to get out of bed in the morning, and Makai's just blowing through these MVP seasons saying, oh, you know what? No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I just think about it. I try to create a very inclusive culture as being a part of Passion. That they're pretty good at that too. And then when it comes to just having that kind of dynamic with my teammates, it really just feels like I'm playing feels like I'm playing backyard football with my friends. Like it's, but it obviously not. But
Right.
like that, it's just that kind of fun. It's that kind of I'm playing catch with my best friends. I'm handing the ball off. We're just trying, and one of the best coaches to do it, to play the game. So it's really like, oh, let's see what we can do, and we do it. So yes, I would say that just not being aware is kind of wild, but it's so it's such like a present thing for me
Yeah.
when I'm playing that I just and then when one game happens, I'm like, all right, what do we do to focus on the next one? How can we game plan for the next one and the next one? So I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about us, and I think that's a huge thing.
Absolutely, and and also, a lot of this is it comes down to experience and just being a football player and doing this your whole life and getting it out there and sticking your brother when you were kids in the field and just doing all those things and that allows you to go out there and just play football and not overthink the sport now. Focus on what it is that you have to focus on while you're between the lines and play the game that you play. And that's what it all comes back. When I keep saying that you just have that X factor, and you can see that. You can see that when you play. And as I said, with Mike and I, we talk about the draft and who we'd like to have as a Steeler. And you always want to look for that X factor. X factor is the guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and some of these quarterbacks. They have that X factor. Yes, they work their asses off. There's no two ways about it, but there is certainly always an X factor that those guys have. I I see it in you every week. That's why you are. I love all the passion. Don't get me wrong, but certainly you are standing out with again. Let me just give you some of these numbers. Makai Chavez last season, she was 8.2 yards per carry, 44.7 points per game, while taking this team to a 6-0 undefeated record and into the playoffs. Many touchdowns between the rushing game and the passing game. Makai, we're just so excited to have you on today. So excited about this season. These guys have everything under getting ready to roll to head down to Tampa Bay this weekend.
Yes.
These guys gonna how you these guys of course you probably don't know what all they have going on because it's a whole new season, but are you feeling pretty confident? Is the passion pretty confident about taking on this Inferno team?
I think so. Um, Obviously, we went undefeated besides losing to Boston last year,
Yes.
and Boston is actually not playing this year. They ceased
Really?
operations for this specific season,
Wow.
so we are the team to beat. Um,
Absolutely.
we're now like every other team at this point in time. That doesn't mean the future, but at this point in time, they are the underdogs. So I am confident in our ability to do the things that we need to do, to execute the way we need to execute. And I believe the other people on our team are as well. We need to stay confident and we need to uh, work well with adversity. And
Absolutely.
I believe that we'll do everything that we need to do to get what we need to get done.
Everything that I've seen by Yin's guys, I would have no other opinion than what you just said. And you don't want to dodge a team like Boston, but you know what? This is out of your control. They're not going to be involved, and you want to beat the best to be the best. But at the end of the day, when Pittsburgh won a Super Bowl, it was a year that Tom Brady was out, and we didn't have to face him. So sometimes you just got to go out, handle your business. You do get ideal, opportunistic situations, and you can take advantage. And this is a perfect. I didn't know that Boston wasn't involved this year. Me as a fan, that excites me because obviously I want you guys to go all the way and more. Less Boston, the better at this point. And then you know what? When they come back next year, we'll kick their asses and we have that championship under our belt, and we'll worry about them then. But I agree, Makai. That was good news for me. Makai Chavez, greatly appreciated for you coming in. I told you I was going to keep you forever. I think we probably kept you a little longer than we would. Than we told you we would have, and I do apologize, but I do thank you greatly for stopping by to talk to us. The Pittsburgh Passion, they kick off this Saturday in Tampa Bay against the Inferno. And then they, like we were saying, they got a couple of away games, but then they come home for 3 in a row. So make sure you get up to Slippery Rock when they do get back. I know I sure will be. But like I said, I don't know who the media people are for the team. If you do have any communications, make sure to let them know they were doing a really great job last year getting you guys up to make you available for everybody to watch. I know that I spread the word, and certainly a lot of my friends did as well. Getting a chance to watch you ladies play is amazing. We here at the Two Dumb Yinzers wish you nothing but the best, Makai. We wish you back-to-back MVP seasons is what we wish you. And again, you know what? Let's take advantage this season and get these wins, get back in the playoffs. Let's make it happen. I'm ready for a big season. Mike's ready for a big season. Makai's ready for a big season. Makai, thank you so much for coming on. You're always welcome on the show. Again, we'll be seeing you later on this season. I'm sure we will be up at Slippery Rock here in about another month or so with you guys. But until then, we wish you all the luck in the world. Get down to Tampa, go win that game, head to Philly, DC. Let's start stacking some wins and get ready to make this playoff run this year. Makai, Chavez, thank you so much for coming on. We wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Of
Makai.
course. Thank you so much, Makai. We will be certainly watching this weekend and beyond. And again, let's get that. Let's get back-to-back MVP seasons. You are a football player that I know that can do it. Thank you so much, Makai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
So there you go, everybody. Makai Chavez. I love her. I'm going to be honest with you. You know how you tend to gravitate toward a quarterback, the leader of the team. I really enjoy watching her play football. Like she is, she's a talent that you can't even explain. And again, it's an X factor that she
dual
has.
threat athlete. She was a dual threat.
She really was. I mean, she had a bunch of touchdowns on the ground. She had a bunch of touchdowns through the air. There's nothing. And again, as I said, you know, when Patrick Mahomes is under center for your team, you feel confident that you can win this football game.
Yeah.
And when she is out on that field, I feel the same way week in, week out. I'm like, you know what? We're probably going to win because we got her.
Yeah.
We got Chavez.
Yeah, that her, and then she also had as teammates as well. I think there were 5 or 4 other first team All-Americans on the roster, and then 2 second team All-Americans on the roster. So there's talent around there at every position too. But like you said, like she's the conductor of that offense.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And as I said, guys, it's really fun because, you know, some of the people here on the show that are tuning in, we will get to everybody in just a second here. You know, this is something that you don't have to be in Pittsburgh. You don't have to be in the region. I mean, if you're, you know, in let's say Wisconsin, for an example, you could always pull up the Passion games on Saturday on YouTube. A lot of fun. And you know what? This is where football means something. These ladies ain't out there getting paid big bucks. These ladies ain't out there getting the riding their Escalade down to the stadium. You know, these women are out there playing football because they love it. And to be able to play at that level and be that much better than everybody else that's in front of you because it's doing something that you love. I got to be honest, Mike, it doesn't get much better. This is why I like high school football. This is why I like college.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love my pros. Don't get me wrong. You know, I love my Steelers. But, you know, I always splinter off certain, you know, different ways trying to find other sports that are just, you know, the sports that people that have that heart. I love it.
And that's not, you know, a shtick coming from you. You legit at the studio when I come over, you do have the WNBA on Saturdays during the season. You will have the Passion on, or if you can't watch it live, you go back and you find it, you know, on a stream to watch it. You do root for these teams hardcore. And, you know, when I'm over to it, like I'm usually running around on Saturdays and Sundays when these games are on. But yeah, I able to catch some of the action and they are good. And you want to talk about like the love of the game. Just before she came on, I was going through the roster and they have what these women do. There's legit doctors, lawyers, nurses, correctional officers, like rookies. I saw one, if I read correctly, 19-year-old rookie just out of high school.
Well, I
right into play. And then I the oldest player, she was been on the team for 19 years now. So there is when she was talking about cultures, like when you have someone who's been there more or less since the founding of the organization, you're going to have that. You know, the passion when the league started was, you know, like the Green Bay Packers, they were winning all the championships. They were, you know, and still continuing to be a dominant team. So the culture's there, and so the way they're able to every year get new talent in every year, because like she said, man, the Western PA athletes.
Yeah, there's no
don't sleep on the area, man.
There's no two ways about that, brother. I was I'll get that in a second, but Yeah, it was really great having Makai on. I've been trying. I was trying a couple seasons to get some of the higher end, some of the higher end players of the team, and it was difficult because they have a lot of things going on, a lot of
Yep.
travel, things like this. So to be able to have Makai come in to talk to us today, was a home run. It was a slam dunk. Was a
Hail Mary,
a game winning field goal, if you will. But we do thank her immensely.
Yes.
I do. I truly, honestly do love the Pittsburgh passion. It was great for her to talk about Franco Harris, of course, a little bit there. That was such a big part of being a part of the passion. He loved that team. He was always involved. He was always at the games. Always great when you hear those stories about Franco. All right, guys, but we do want to welcome everybody back. This is episode 730 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Good morning, everybody. I'm just kind of going over some of the messages on the board up to this point, catching up a little bit here, if you will. I caught the Tortilla Jackson. Can Makai play quarterback? At this point, she might be the best option. But what?
That's why I asked, man. If she can make it up to Latrobe, we'll throw her in the back of the Two Dumb Yinzer Escalade and get her up there.
So the Two Dumb Yinzer Escalade.
I started talking the way I made it sound. We'll throw her in the back. But
yeah.
Oh my God, it's like a white window van. No.
Yeah, we ain't throwing her in the back. But you know what? In the draft is 2 days away. We'll get into that shortly.
Yeah.
Catching up here, though, I do want to say good morning to Jen, Tortilla, Richard, Yinzer, Joe, Finch, Caleb, everybody. Good morning to everybody and anybody that could hear my voice. Also, let's do C. Hi, Jen. She says, yeah, does she play quarterback? Could she play quarterback for the Steelers? And Finch also right there with her. Yes, let's get her on the team. She should compete with Mason. Caleb says, damn, I got to start waking up earlier. And let's see what's Caleb have here at the very bottom. You know what? I'm sorry, I didn't miss that. That would be a very great question, Caleb. Caleb asks, what advice does Makai have for young girls wanting to play football? That would have been a fantastic question. Mark Malone, good morning to you. He says, good call keeping that perv derpy away.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? I'll get into him in a second here. I got a bone to pick about him. Caleb says if MLB had any business sense, they would have $1 billion idea right in front of them. The first female MLB baseball player since the 1940s. Yeah, you look what just one Caitlin Clark was able to do with college basketball and all the things that she was able to provide and do last season. So I don't disagree with you on that one. Oh yeah, speaking of Derpy, we had him on one time. We had a guest. She was a Morgan Gruber. She was a American Idol contestant, and she's a local. Matter of fact, she was voted the best country artist in Pittsburgh last year. I do know that. And Derpy, wasn't he slobbering all over him? So did he make her sing "Happy Birthday" to him or something crazy, Mike?
No. We were like, hey, it's Derpy's birthday. Do you mind saying? And she's like, yeah, happy birthday, Derpy. And then Derpy got the googly eyes, and it was like, oh man, she might be the one. Like, okay, Derpy,
yeah.
Mute your microphone, bud.
Yeah, he said, I think she's the one. That was what it was. I knew it was something crazy.
Yeah.
Derpy, he was crazy for about 3 days after. I couldn't get a hold of the guy. He was clearly shook. But
I entered Joe.
Hey, you like it? Yeah, man. Yinzer Joe says Ryan looking like an undercover cop dressed in all black, asking all the difficult questions, laughing my ass off. But yeah, here we are, everybody. She's as I said, the Pittsburgh Passion, they do start this weekend, Saturday. They travel down to Tampa Bay to play the Inferno. It's a 6-game season. It's a 3 away game and then 3 home game. Weird way to set up. But you know what? When you're not a $1 billion industry, it's not so easy to just ship people all over the country at will to play games. So follow the ladies. Again, once they come back home, like they hit Slippery Rock Stadium, we will be heading up there to cover them. But good luck. Again, coming off an MVP season, even with a broken bone during the season, like being able to pull. Again, come on, you got hurt going reverse in your vehicle, and it took months to get you back to health.
Yeah, like I literally twisted my knee at work stepping backwards. I went to step and pivot, and my boot caught in a rut and slipped, and my knee went. The young kids are like, "Jesus, Mike." I'm like, that's what happens when you're old, fat, and out of shape, boys.
You know what I hate? I hate with the guys. Does this ever happen to you when you yawn and you lean back too far and you get that cramp under your chin that like hurts?
No, I've never had that.
You never had that?
No, I've yawned where I stretched my back cracked, but never where my chin gets. No, that's a new one, my friend.
No, guys, somebody back me up on this. Where you yawn too far and you're stretching and you get a cramp right under your chin, like up in that the chin
like
under
right up in here.
No,
right
yeah, right there. It's like
up in the chin.
Yeah, it's a cramp. It literally you feel like there's a hard muscle cramp thing going on there. One of my least favorite things in life. I got to be honest. But let's get back to this couple of things here, Mike. I do want to move forward. The Pittsburgh Pirates, before we get into football, let me just make one comment about this. Did anybody catch this news? The last game that they played on Sunday, before they wrap things up, the Pittsburgh Pirates TV broadcast cuts the sell the team chants on air. So if you're listening to the game or watching the game, don't get me wrong, it's good for business. I think you have to cut that. But it's just another thing to me that the Pittsburgh Pirates are just come on, step up. At this point, step up and man up with what's going on. You're driving this organization into the ground.
Yeah.
And for them to cut on the broadcast, the fans chanting "sell the team," that's just you hiding shit. Because again, it's very transparent. Everybody knows what's going on right now. Everybody's chanting "sell the team," and the fact that you go in there and you cover that up, so it's to pretend that it's not happening, so people who are watching at home can't experience the same opinion that the people with the stadium are, just to cover your ass. I think this, Mike. It's not long before this guy gets buried. It's going to be, Mike, this guy, they're not going to be making any money before you know it, in my opinion. I think that this guy is in big trouble, and I hope that he seriously considers selling this baseball team.
I hope so too, but you know the next thing is they won't cut the audio. They'll have audio pumped in that says "Thank you, Bob" or "We love Bob." Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
It's like Saddam Hussein, But that's the one thing about the Buccos. They do start game 1 of 3 at the Angels tonight. That game's at 9:38. Mike, these weird 38 game starts. I don't know what this is all about. We've seen that in college basketball in the tournament as well. But 9:38, game 1 of 3, Buccos versus Angels, and then they go to play the Dodgers for 3 after that, Mike. So we'll see what the Pirates can do. They are sitting, I believe, at 8-15 as we speak, but they are in California tonight. Let's get into some NFL talk, would you?
Okay.
Could you?
I can.
Caleb said Derpy's fire alarm will be jealous someone else sung to him.
Oh,
Andrew Joe says, forget it now. No sports for me. I sneeze, cough, and a cracker. That's where I'm at right now. And you know what? I didn't feel like I was there until about 2 or 3 years ago. Now I feel like I'm there. Caleb says my favorite recent Pirates memory was the time that time they caught the broadcaster farting on air. You know what?
It was Bob Walk.
Was it Bob Walk?
Yeah, it was Bob Walk.
I think I used to just fart all the time on air. Just get anything to help that team and what's going on. Maybe just farting the whole time would draw a crowd.
Yeah, it would be better than some of the performances we've seen out there.
But we got 2 days, guys. This time, 2 days from now, we're going to be preparing heavily for the NFL draft. Mike, it's here. It's here, man. A couple of things I do want to talk about. First of all, Kaepernick still wants to play.
Yeah.
That was 2012.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, it's going to be 2016. Who's going to want an old Kaepernick at this point? Nobody wanted a young Kaepernick.
It leaks out every once in a while this time of the year. And then it goes away. And then it's just out, and then it's gone. It's out.
And it's that girlfriend. You got that.
It's the girl. She's the one always saying it. My man's probably just out back, just throwing the ball around with the boys.
Right.
Hey, he's coming back. He's coming back.
And she's a broadcast. She's on radio too. So everybody hears what she got to say.
Oh yeah.
But
smart move for engagement. I respect the hustle,
yeah,
but yeah, he's probably just excuse me, throwing the ball around, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I got the story for the
I mean,
day."
you figure he's Russell Wilson's. I mean, he's in
Yeah,
that flock of drafted right around or came in this right
yeah,
around the same
yeah. He's
time.
like 38. Yeah,
So whatever. I guess at this point, maybe I don't know. I don't know if I would be so much against taking Colin Kaepernick.
hey, let's get him, baby. Hey, we're Aaron Rodgers. Let's go.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers is done, Mike. A lot of talk over the past couple of days. I'm not feeling too optimistic anymore. Just it seems like every single thing I'm reading now is going against Aaron Rodgers coming here, which I don't hate. As a matter of fact, I had to work a little bit to accept the fact that he might have been coming here. So if he doesn't come here, according to according to Sports Illustrated, they say Rodgers wanted the Steelers to roll out the red carpet for him. Just amongst other comments, no Rodgers. Now what? I mean, so being 2 days out from the draft, I think that people really expected to hear something by way of Aaron Rodgers at this point. Here we are, 48 hours away from the day of the draft, Mike. It doesn't seem like Aaron Rodgers, again, unless there's something that we all don't know about.
Yeah.
But there's been things that happened since he's been here and things that's been said since he's been here that I think would have given him an opportunity to maybe start to work his way in and say, I'm here, guys. I don't see it, Mike. I don't think it's going to happen. He wants the red carpet rollout. Red carpet is asked to retirement. I'm through with him. Let's get somebody. Let's get this show going. Here's the thing. We can only play around so long. We're draft time now. This is work. This is work. This is work, buddy. If you can't comply and work with us, then why in the hell should we work with you?
Exactly. And like Elmer Cohen and Mike Tomlin said today at their press conference, like Aaron Rodgers' decision is not affecting the way we're drafting at all.
Of course they're going to say that. And they wouldn't come out and say that it is.
And hey, we're bringing in 4 quarterbacks. We have 2 on the roster. More or less, do the math. They're telling you, like, at some point in this draft, they're taking quarterback, whether it be in the first round, third round, fourth round, fifth round. They're going to take someone.
If they didn't, I would be sad. Come on, they would be pissed. And if you know what my crystal ball tells me, it's that we're going Jackson Dart at 21. Maybe they might trade back, whatever. But like, I think that it would be excuse the wording. I mean, this is the word that I use regularly throughout my life until this point. But apparently, that would be retarded. It really would be, Mike, if they went through this draft and did not draft a quarterback at some point. It would be just retarded, and you know what? At that point, you kind of what are you guys doing?
Even if they don't draft a quarterback, there's still people out there that you figure if you're going to ride with Mason Rudolph to be your guy this year, and you like next year's quarterback class, you go with Mason Rudolph, maybe like a Carson Wentz, a Teddy Bridgewater, a Tyler Huntley, and Skylar Thompson, and an undrafted rookie free agent as your 4th quarterback.
Teddy Bridgewater's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Good heavens.
Yeah, he came back for a little bit at the end of the Detroit last year. He came back. Yeah. So you can still get.
So you can get a bunch
Mason
of turns,
as your,
basically.
Yeah, and you run Mason as your guy and let the chips fall where they may. And if we have that bad class like a lot of fans want, or bad season like a lot of fans want, hoping that will facilitate change or a better draft pick. We're getting that better draft pick to get the quarterback next year. You flush out the roster this year, get your guy next year if you think that class is better.
They're going to take a quarterback late if they don't get that. Listen, one of 2 things are going to happen. They could possibly do what you're saying, and if they have their eyes set on somebody next year, and then they're going to take a quarterback. They're going to take 1 5th, 6th, maybe 4th round, 7th, whatever, or they're going to go after their guy. They're going to go after Dart or Mike. As I'm seeing, the odds continue to fall in the favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers drafting Shedeur Sanders. So, I mean, there's many things at this point, especially now considering that the odds are I'm like, he's the favorite over the Giants, over Cleveland, over the Saints. People are betting that he's going to go to the Steelers. The fact that he might fall to 21. So there's a lot of things that are in play, a lot of wheels in motion. We're just 2 days out from the draft. I'm losing my mind. There's so much going on here. And another concern, Mike, that people are saying, go ahead, yes, because I do have a couple comments that I want to make about Dion. But go ahead first.
I was going to say, like, I don't think quarterback's going to be round one. The way they were talking on their press conference was like, this is a strong group of quarterbacks. So if you say that, that
They
means
said
okay.
that?
That means like, okay, we can
yeah,
get someone later in the draft. Usually if they say, you know what, this position's kind of thin, that means okay, they're going to pounce early.
Yeah, I mean,
so this is telling me that
obviously,
they're going to.
But are they saying it because it's what it is? Because I haven't heard a person yet say this is a strong quarterback class until that press conference.
Probably strong in depth to where you can get guys that will be really good backups, fringe starters, but not a lot of franchise guys. So you get guys that can help your team, but aren't going to be the big guys. So it's not like a really awesome starter class, but there's guys there that can be serviceable to your team. And that's why I'm thinking like in that third round, fourth round, they'll draft someone like Howard or Shuck or someone along those lines.
So how many years has it been since we've literally had a starting quarterback? And by that, I mean, not a 40-year-old guy that's on his way out, not a guy that again, I mean, if Fields was a starter, he would have been a starter.
Yeah.
The year prior to that, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason. I mean, it's been since Ben that we've had a starter. We haven't even had anybody that could be a quality starter in the NFL start for us over the past 5 seasons, Mike, almost 5 seasons. Again, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to say I hope they know what they're doing. And I hope that they do the right thing because, Mike, I mean, if this, as Kenny Pickett played out, we said, you know what, this is going to be at least another 3 years till we could land on our feet and rebound. Mike, if this happens again, that's another 3. I mean, we're already working into the 2030s with this. At some point, Mike, does this team know how to get a quarterback? Does this team know how to groom a quarterback? We will find out. We have a new one again this year, Skylar Thompson. We have Mason back. It's going to be very interesting, Mike. I'm not quite sure what we have going, but it's definitely not what you want in the NFL as far as quarterback.
No, it's not ideal, but we've lived through worse, right? We've lived through worse.
I don't know if we have. This is the worst. Some things indicate that this is the worst period of time in Steelers history from 1970 on, but that's arguable, Mike. Here are some of the things that I did see. Now, somebody threw out there, let's say that Shedeur Sanders does come here.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, all the people that wanted Tomlin's head on a platter. What happens if Dion squeezes through the cracks somewhere? What if Dion becomes the next Pittsburgh Steeler head coach? What if all these what ifs? Yeah. Because all the time, get Tomlin out here, fire Tomlin. You know what? Even if he has this 500 record, we got to get rid of Tomlin. The guy can't win in the playoffs. What happens if one day we wake up as Steeler fans and Deion Sanders, who we've hated as a Cowboy, as a Raven, is everything, being our coach and his son being our quarterback? Boy, would that be a new day? Would that qualify, Mike, as a great reset?
It would be a great reset. It would be that would be that would be a wild reset. It would be interesting to see how people react. It'd be great for the show. So I'm all for it, baby. Let's make it happen. Get Shedeur. Let's have a bad year, and let's get Dion next year, baby. I'm all for it. Sign me up.
Yeah, like I said,
I mean, it would give us fodder 365. So sign me up. But as a fan, I didn't like Dion. I don't want him on my team. I didn't want him as a player, and I don't want him as my coach.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine Deion Sanders being the coach that they don't want to fire next?
Yeah,
decades of Dion.
Yeah, that would be like having like Eric Lindros come and coach the Penguins. No,
or Ron Hextall come
coaching the GM.
Come on, we wouldn't do that here in Pittsburgh. No, we don't do that here.
No, I would no. God no, that would be like Myles Garrett coming here to be defensive coordinator after he retires. No. Like Tom Brady coming in to be the head coach here. No.
Jen says, sounds like Steelers are seriously considered trading back by what Omar had to say this morning. That's what I'm hearing. All the scoop as of the last 24 hours for me, it's all this trade back talk. I was gonna pick your brain on that here just shortly, Mike. Also, into Joseph, I heard Rodgers is just using excuses to skip camp. Then he'll sign after. That would make me not want him. And again, we're sitting around begging a 40-plus-year-old player to come play in this young man's league. I think is insane anyway. But Jen says new chapter in the Steelers book. Mark Malone says I think they'll draft one. I do too. I think they're going to hit the quarterback at some point, just depending on what. I think we're going to get Mike. We're going to get a feel real early in this draft of how this draft's going to go. Of course,
yeah.
You're number one. You're going to go defensive tackle. You're going to go after one of your offensive positions that you need. That's going to tell a lot. 2, you don't have a second round pick. 3, so I think real early in this draft we're gonna get a pretty good idea of what the Steelers are thinking. I do want to also say good morning to Roger. Roger on the board as well. Mark Melissa, I think they'll okay. Tortilla says we're going to sign Aaron the day of the wild card and screw with the opponents, the opponents DC. Yinzer Joe says a lot of teams want to trade down. Ask yourself why. I think the teams really aren't as high on this year's draft class and are willing to wait till next year. Also, adding more picks, including that would be more enticing. You know what? That's a good point too. I mean, we're not even guaranteed to get our whatever it is that we're looking at in next year's draft. I mean, there's still so much time between now and then. Of course, you'd like to have everything play out in Pittsburgh the way that you would like it to. But at the end of the day, there's going to be more teams that need more bad teams that need quarterbacks. There's going to be the same thing that happens every year. So I say you have to make a move. You have to make a move this year, whatever it be, whether it be a later on quarterback. At some point, you got to bring somebody in. I just don't understand. Mike, again, I mean, can we keep just going through these old guys? I mean, at some point, the Flaccos and Bridgewaters have to go home. They have to leave the sport at some point, Mike.
Yeah, when we land on the next Ben Roethlisberger,
right?
We're in the Mark Malone era right now, boys. We still had to get through the Bubby Bridger, Neil O'Donnell, Cordell Stewart, Kent Graham, Jim Miller, like in Tommy Maddox era. We got a ways to go, boys.
Some comments on the Deion Sanders coming here to coach. Mark Malone says that would be the worst time in Steeler. I don't agree with you. I mean, I don't disagree with you. He says that would be the worst time in Steeler history. As far as the fans go, and you know what? If they turn things around in like 2 seasons and became like the greatest franchise ever, that would be the only thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that would save that situation. But I agree. Oh my God, I can't imagine Deion Sanders with his club foot hobbling around on the Steelers
Jesus
sideline.
Christ!
I mean, come on.
I forgot about that. Usually P makes that joke. Where is he?
Yinzer Joe, I don't know, P. Where are you? Yinzer Joe says, I would absolutely stop watching my favorite sport and team if both Sanders were on the Steelers. Hell no. Tortilla says, if you think we're mediocre now, wait until we have Deion and Shador leading our squad 9 and 8 seasons for the next 20 years. Roger goes on to say, I would not like Deion as the head coach, but at least he would hold players accountable. Tortilla says, and then after Deion retires, we'll hire Ocho Cinco as the head coach. And Yinzer Joe says, yeah, or Antonio Brown. So hopefully this is all just crazy talk. And we could get back to our senses here in another 2 days. And again, this is going to answer a lot of the questions that we've been sitting around talking about for the past 60 days. And it's going to start clearing things up a little bit for us and giving us a little bit better idea of what we're going to look like heading into the 2025 season. Mike, but I want to come to you on this one. I know that there's a lot of people, and generally, average football fans, they want to know what's the reasoning. Why is the trade down so effective, and why could it play to the advantage of the Steelers in the draft?
Garnering additional draft picks, not and gaining ammunition for later in the draft. If you see someone start to fall, you have these extra picks. You can make a move up and get your guy, and still have more picks to go. That's why I like it there too. A lot of people like it too to get value for the player. Like, in our board we had so and so rated number 30, but he's available at 15. He's a guy we really like. Oh, we'll trade back later on because we know he's going to kind of fall down the boards, and we'll get him at this slot. And it's a good draft value at that point. And hey, we got additional draft capital to, make moves or grab someone else that we like too in a spot who we might think be in that situation. And two, and another thing is too, like if you're just looking at the board and you don't like anyone there, might as well trade back and get picks to where you're more comfortable picking one of those guys later in the first or even like at the top of the second. That's why if you see teams trade out of the first round late in the draft, they're comfortable going, okay, some of these guys we like, but we can't justify a first round pick on them, but we identify at least 10 guys that can be here in the next 5 picks as we pick in the second round. You do stuff like that.
So there you go, everybody. I mean, it could certainly play to your advantage. You could use it to your advantage. And, as Mike said, these are the kind of things that Omar Khan has came off. He comes off as being, really savvy when it comes time for the draft, when it comes time for free agents, when it comes time to, start making transactions. And I have confidence. I think that this draft is going to be good. I think that we worked ourselves up into a little bit of a frenzy. I think it's going to come together, Mike. I think the Omar Khan and company, again, we've seen them this morning, 10:30. They did have their pre-draft post conference, their press conference. I'm sorry. And as Jen said on the board, it seems like they're focusing more today than in the past on the trade down. I do want to throw out there, guys, Thursday, 8 o'clock, round 1. Thursday, 8 o'clock is round 1. On Friday, starting at 7 o'clock p.m., it's rounds 2 and 3 of the draft. And then on Saturday, starting at 4 o'clock p.m., it's rounds 4 through 7. So Thursday night, 8 o'clock p.m., Friday night, 7 o'clock, and then Saturday, 4 o'clock. And then that'll wrap it up, guys. Once we get done with the drafting on Saturday, we will see where we're at. But Mike, I come on, this is what you've been waiting for. I mean,
yes,
how 48, let's see, 48 plus, I don't know, about another 8 hours, about another 56 hours or so. Mike, tell me a little bit about how you're feeling about this draft. Again, we've talked extensively about a lot of the situations, a lot of things that are possible. What do you want to see when it all said and done, the dust settles on the end of this draft, Mike? What do you think is going to be a productive draft for the Steelers? And you don't even have to like name names. Just
yeah. Getting for me, productive draft would be a starter in round 1, or if it's a skill position player, a quality number 2 at that position. So like a wide receiver, obviously you're not starting over the big 2, but you're to fight for that third spot and get a lot of snaps. If they go running back, someone that can be that 1A to Jaylen Warren. If they go defense, someone that's going to play a shit ton of snaps and shore up either the cornerback position or the D lineman position. That's like a win on first round. Then in later rounds, if you can get guys that can contribute. Every draft, we've got guys later in the draft that have been able to contribute and step up to help the team and make the draft class look better. So hopefully we can find someone like, again, in the 3rd round, maybe the 4th round, that can come in and be key backups, spot starter type guys. That would be a great draft for me, to get guys, like at least 3 guys that can contribute right away positively to offense and defense.
If you watch this show, you know that our board is just as much as the show as Mike and myself. Guys, on the board, take the second, give us your number 1 pick. Who on everybody on the board, whoever's still in here, I'm seeing the names here, Mark Malone, Yinzers, Joe, Jen, everybody on the board. Who's your ideal number 1 pick? Who do you want to see the Steelers take in the first round? I'm saying Jackson Dart, but that's me personally. Throw some up of your opinion. Of course, we've heard who Mark, of course, he wants to double dip the QB, wants a beast at running back, a beast at defensive lineman. Throw who you guys want up again. These guys are a big part of this show. I want to know who you want to see as the first player picked by the Steelers in this 2025 draft. Because again, guys, we're less than 2 days away. This time in 2 days, Mike, once we wrap the show up, that's all it. And everything after that is all results in what it is that we did. So if you get a chance on the board, throw up who you want to see. Who's your number 1? Who cares if it's not even possible? If you like Genty and you want him to be a Steeler, throw it up on the board. Tortilla Jackson, if you like the receiver from Texas, throw it up on the board. Who do you guys? Because again, what you say on this show is just as important. is what we say. So please take the time and put your ideal first round pick on the board. We'll talk about that a little bit. Mike, I do want to say that the Steelers did hand out some new numbers. Looks like Gainwell is going to be number 21 for the Steelers. Slay is going to be number 23. Eccles 26, and Malik Harrison will be number 50. And then the few defensive tackles and offensive linemen that they did bring in, they also have their numbers awarded as well. I didn't write them down because they're linemen.
Yeah. Who cares about
Who
linemen?
cares about the linemen?
What do they do?
What do they do? But so there you go. Gainwell will be 21, Slay 23, Eccles 26, Harrison 50. Definitely, I'm seeing some. All right, I'm starting to see some things come up on the board already. Tortilla Jackson wants Hampton. You know what, Mike? You liked Hampton early, and we do
I did too.
We do need that position.
Yeah, we do, and like I wouldn't mind him in the first round. If we don't get him there, then you're looking for maybe someone like Scadaboo. If he's there at the third, he's great at breaking tackles. Trayvon Henderson, I don't think he's going to be there in round 3, but if he is, you run up to the podium with his name on there. I like those two as like quality, starters that can be your 3-down traditional back.
I'm sorry, I did skip over Mark Malone. He did say trade back into the second. Might have to be 2 trades. Draft Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson, Mike?
Running back out of Iowa. He fits that zone blocking scheme well. Like when I'd like him. The only thing I worry about is like sometimes he seems a little too easy to bring down. Sometimes like a hand on the leg just brings him down easily, but other times he bowls through people. Just get that little more consistency. But I would love him. I love the way he runs.
Mike, the question is, does he fall forward? That is always
he falls forward. He falls forward.
My beef.
He doesn't fall sideways. He doesn't fall backwards.
This is how I judge and rate my quarterback or my running backs. Mike, that does the guy fall forward? That is one of the biggest deal breakers for me. If you got a guy that don't fall forward, I don't want him on my team. Just by falling and being tackled, those players always gain an extra yard and a half every play. That adds up through the course of a game. I love the guys that fall forward. You need to fall forward if you're going to be successful in the NFL. Jen says, make sure you buy. Oh, let me go ahead right here. Make sure you buy your clear fanny pack this year for next year. They do not allow colored bags into the draft. If you have to be able to see through it, Mike. So, what a nightmare this is going to be for the infrastructure and what we have going on in Pittsburgh. Man, this is going to be a madhouse. I know when we watched it in Kansas City last year, it was insane.
Yeah, there's no
amount
way.
of people.
Yeah, there's no way it's going to work in Pittsburgh.
It's going to work, but it's going to be insane. Oh, man. Walter Nolan for Jen. She likes Walter Nolan. Rogers, Peter Woods. Peter Woods. Who's Peter Woods?
He's Clemson Tiger defensive lineman. I don't think he's in the draft this year.
Okay.
Or is he?
I don't know. If he says it, I take his word. Mark Malone. Johnson looks slippery as a mofo for me.
He does.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he's a shifty one.
Ooh, I like that. He says looks like Roger Craig and Marcus Allen. Not bad players to be compared to for sure. So here it is. Here it is, Mike. I'm going to stick with my guns. And I've said this from day one. I said Jackson Dart, and I'm sticking with it. Who's your pick? You like the defensive tackle?
I like Nolan. If he's there, like I said, I'm starting to see him fall a lot in updated, revised drafts.
Why is that? I saw that.
I don't know. Like no one said changed the eval on him or gone back and look at tape and pointed stuff out. And like the same stuff has been there the whole process for him. Yeah, I'd take him. He's what you want as a D tackle. Dude's a nut. I want him on my team.
Yeah, we need a nut. We need a nut on the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
We need something. We don't have a starter. I mean, come on, you lose Ogunjobi right there. I mean, we're already behind the 8 ball. And you know what? Mike, it comes to me like this. It's very difficult for me to even comprehend that they might even take a defensive tackle in the first round with no second round. And, yeah, we can always point back to it being Metcalf. But at the end of the day, it's not. He's a free agent. We're talking about young guys. So, use a defensive tackle in the first round. Second round is non-existent. In the third round, now you have to try to fill all those holes on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that's going to lead, Mike, into what I was going to say next is this George Pickens thing can be very interesting. I'm seeing conflicting reports today. Some saying that that it's more than likely they're going to start working on it and hopefully make it work. But at the end of the day, it's difficult to say. George Pickens, Mike, is going to be a big
question mark.
A big question mark. And how do you tackle that in this draft at this point? Or do you just say, let's see what we can do? We have Roman Wilson obviously coming off. We're going to get a look at him. It's basically in his rookie season. And let's play what we have at the receiver's position and worry about the contract later. And if we have to go get a receiver next offseason, we'll get a free agent or look at one in the draft. So I don't think that that's the most the most vital position at this point. Obviously, it's going to be George Pickens is a big piece. But Mike, running back, are they going to address that other running back? Or are they just going to run like we normally would have? Maybe just run your number one dog. Yeah. Have a number two guy that steps in. Have your third down back. We were kind of spoiled with Najee and Warren. So I mean, maybe they run more traditional. Don't have a second dog back there. Also, Mike, this offensive line. Where are they at with that? I think this is their line. I don't know. They shouldn't touch the offensive line in this draft. I wouldn't think.
Only thing I think they would do is again look for someone who can be an eventual replacement to say Malu down the line, because I think Spencer Anderson's just going to be a backup in the NFL. But if they can get another guard that could potentially next year take over for Sayamalo, I wouldn't be opposed to that, or get a tackle in case Broderick Jones fails. And do you want to go Calvin Anderson as your starter if Broderick Jones fails? Because there's some guys you can potentially get in the fourth round that could maybe become starters. I'm not sure that they will be starters, but you never know. We found Mason McCormick in the fourth round last year, and it's like, oh, who is this cat? And he performed well. So and
then we we find Kendrick Green in the third round a couple years prior, and look what he turned into.
Yeah. So, it's going to vary from class to class, but I get what you're saying.
Richard saying Matthew Golden, not a bad pick. Again, I just don't know if this is, the more I'm thinking about it, I just don't know if you address that right now. I just, because you don't know what's going to happen with GP. I mean, he could, they could work something out. And again, they may pay out mad money to their receivers. It's possible. I mean, they did it with defensive players. It's not out of the question. If GP comes out and they both put up 1,000 yards this season, you might have to consider it, Mike. I mean, what do you do? Do you pay? Do you say, oh shit, now this guy wants too much money?
Yeah.
We might have to, cut him loose and go. So, GP, man, he's an X factor in this whole thing.
Yeah, like you got to figure, what kind of salary is he going to demand?
Right.
Yeah, like comparable to receiver, let's say DJ Moore, similar amounts of production. He's making $27.5 million.
Yep.
T. Higgins is making almost $29 million. Waddle's making over 28. Is he going to be in that range, or is he going to be?
It's so hard to believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers would be that team. Yeah. I mean, to pay that out to their two receivers.
Yeah.
But it's a different era, Mike. These guys have to. You got to change to score. Points.
Yeah.
You're not going to win football games in this league if you're not scoring points. It's just those days are done. The 10-6 wins, for the most part, it's done.
Yeah, and then too, you have to figure too. Calvin Austin's contract is also up next year as well.
Yeah, so, you know what? There's
that's he's not your number one, number two, but he proved last year, man, you can trust him in key situations. He's not afraid to go across the middle and get his bell rung. He would be a guy to keep on the roster. So maybe you do go wide receiver first round. You can't go wrong. Taking a wide receiver first round. This is the way the NFL is going. More receivers that are talented, that can do things with the ball in their hand, you go and do it.
I think the one reason they're not going to go number one wide receiver, Mike, is because Roman Wilson. I think
so.
You have a what was he picked last year? Was he third round?
Third round.
So I mean, you have a nice young rookie third
Yeah.
round wide receiver. Let's take a look at him. That's why I feel that they are not going to take a wide receiver because now let's say that Roman Wilson works out and you have all these now you have a big, you have DK Metcalf, you have George Pickens played for a contract, you have Roman Wilson working out, you have Calvin Austin, as you said, Mike, playing for a contract coming off a decent season. Now you have now you have more running or wide receivers than you know what to do with. So that's why that alone, like, it's a good problem. That's why I think they don't take a wide receiver. But of course, Matthew Golden would certainly be a great pick if they did do that, Richard. It's interesting. I mean, again, Mike, at the end of the day, our offensive line, like it or not, is set. This is the line. This is this is what we're moving forward with. And we're going to find out what Broderick Jones can do. We're going to find out what Siamalu and what Fatanu. And so again, the draft is needed. We are certainly due for a draft, Mike, to bring in some fresh blood. And I got to be honest, it's getting more exciting as it gets closer. Just 2 days, 2 days from the draft.
I can guarantee you, no one will be 100% happy with the draft.
No,
because no one ever is. Like, no one ever is. Like I remember Troy's rookie year. People were calling him a bust halfway through the season.
No, they didn't know.
Because he wasn't barely seeing the field, and when he was, he looked lost. And then the rest is history. And then you have someone like Troy Edwards, who had a really good rookie year. You're thinking, all right, we got our wide receiver. And then we got Plex. We're gonna have 2. It just never panned out. You don't know until like 3 years down the line how good your draft is.
We always say that 3 years is about what it takes, and with the really good ones, but Mike, it's it's right there. Takes you back to that 1974 draft where
Jesus God,
five
Hall of Famers.
5 Hall of Famers out of that draft class, Mike. And what was it? 4 of them were Steelers or something like that. It was just something ridiculous.
4 of them were the Steelers drafted 4, and one was an undrafted rookie free agent.
There was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have one of them drafts. Are we? How things go in cycles. Are we at that part of our cycle yet, where we could have that 1974 draft here in 2025?
And that would be awesome. To have that draft class.
Tortilla says people hate on Johnson's speed. He ran a 4.5, and people act like he wasn't outrunning everyone on tape. Safeties also run 4.5, 4.6 is when you're too slow to break big plays. Webster, Webster was in that, wasn't he? In that draft class.
It's Swan, Lambert, Stallworth, and then Webster in the 5th round. The first 3 picks they had were Swan, Lambert, Stallworth, all in the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Allen in the 4th round had to break up the string, and then the 5th round they get Mike Webster.
Who'd you say, Jimmy Allen?
Yeah, Jimmy Allen.
That's who I want. I want a Jimmy Allen jersey.
Where he played in the league for about 7 years, not bad.
He was the one that just didn't make it.
Yeah, he was the one, and then
everybody else went to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The Hall of Fame, Mike. Yeah. And then he was Jimmy Allen.
Yeah. Poor guy. Like, you feel bad for him.
Jen said, the reason I'm a Steeler fan, old Mike Webster. Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people that do say that. Roger Murray says that 74 draft was an era when guys were playing for pride, not contra. That's my era. That's the era I loved. I would really love to experience the 70s, man.
And then Donnie Shell they picked up in free agency. He was the undrafted rookie free agent, and he became a Hall of Famer as well.
There you go. We'll see if we could draft. We'll see if we could draft some Hall of Famers, Mike. How many Hall of Famers do we see drafted as Steeler fans just this millennium alone? I think Big Ben, Troy Polamalu. Who else? Who else?
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
Potentially Cam Hayward.
Cam, I think Cam, yeah. I think
AB, if he would have kept his head on right, was a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So we'll see if we can continue the luck. Hopefully we get some guys in that's going to make a difference for this team, Mike, and get us back to the promised land. It certainly feels like it's been a long time. I guess 8 years in the big picture isn't a long time, but it sure feels like.
But as a fan, that's too fucking long.
I want to be happy again. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I just want to be happy to where I'm enjoying my teams. We haven't enjoyed a Pirate season in quite some time. We haven't enjoyed. The Steelers and the Penguins haven't won a playoff game in 8 years.
Yeah.
I just want to enjoy my teams again. That's all.
Me too.
Harrison, wasn't he
He was
he was an unsigned,
he was undrafted.
undrafted. Yeah.
He was he went from Pittsburgh to Baltimore, Baltimore to Pittsburgh, over to Germany, back between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and finally landed.
He could certainly be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, fuck yeah, he could.
I think Hines Ward. Mike says no. But there's a handful of guys.
And I don't mean that as a disrespect to Hines. I'm just a great player.
But his numbers are great too. I mean,
I know.
He wasn't the greatest of that time. He wasn't Marvin Harrison. But I mean, come on, and all in the big picture, he had a pretty damn good career, man.
Yeah, and I'm not sliding out on the Suns. I just think he's just on the outside looking in. He got a toe in. Can he get the other toe in to make it a catch? Well, we'll see. I won't be mad if he makes the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. You know, and it just sucks about some of these guys. There's so many guys all across the league, you know. Yeah. And if you hope that one of yours makes that cut and then makes it's tough to do, man. That's why I worry about Hines and Harrison. You get them guys that come in and they're not first ballot guys. Then the next year comes. Then the next year comes. Next thing you know, you're 4 or 5 years down the road, and you're thinking, Jesus, this guy going to get in.
You see how long it took Swan and Stallworth to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And people will get like, oh, well, you look at their receiving numbers. Yeah, they're not great compared to today's era, but back then, they were lighting the league on fire.
Absolutely. So there you go, everybody. Again, the draft 2 days away. Round 1 Thursday, 8:00 p.m. Round 2 and 3 Friday at 7:00 p.m. Rounds 4 through 7 Saturday at 4:00 p.m. It's here. It's here, Mike. And look at this. It's going to be May in a couple days, and then July. The guys will already be at camp. So we're about 70 days out. The guys will be headed into camp, and once camp gets here, it takes off. So. Mike, I'm kind of spent, man. We have I have a lot of the material here and a lot of stuff for the interview we talked about. Is there anything that you got to talk about today? Anything that you want to address before we start getting ready to wrap it up?
No, man, we got it all. And like I was keeping tabs on the Steelers press conference. It was more or less what you would expect. They're not tipping their hand, open. So yeah, they would like to move down, but it seems they're open to everything.
That's why I didn't really watch it. I knew what they were going to say.
Yeah, same thing.
You know what I mean?
Same thing every team says every year.
Exactly. Hey, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go and tell everybody about the website, and we'll get into some trivia.
The2Yinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store over there. We got all of our links. Got the blog. Definitely check it out. We got a couple t-shirt designs in the work. So that should be popping up here probably after the draft. But yeah, check it out at the2Yinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2Yinzers.com. That's www.the2Yinzers.com. All right, guys. Mike, now this is gonna go back to yesterday because we found out that Notre Dame, they had sent the most players ever via the draft to the NFL. Mm-hmm. So this is gonna be kind of similar, okay? Here we go. Mike, which team has sent more players to the NFL draft out of Penn State, Pitt, and West Virginia?
Ooh.
Penn State, Pitt, and West Virginia. As a matter of fact, I want the order. Give me the order from 1, 2, 3 that you think.
Okay.
Because some might say, well, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Give me the order, 1, 2, 3. Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube every day. All right, Mike, so the question of the day, yesterday we found out that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish had more players drafted in the NFL than any other college. Today, Mike, Penn State, Pitt, West Virginia, the regional teams.
Yeah.
Rank those teams who you think sent the most players to the NFL to the least amount of players to the NFL. Mike, Penn State, Pitt, West Virginia. What do you think?
I'm going to go Pitt number 1. It's because I hate that university, but my God, do they put out some ball players. And they're up there in the most Hall of Famers too. Then I'm going to go Penn State number 2 and then WVU number 3.
All right, so Pitt number 1, Penn State number 2,
Yeah.
and Pitt number 3. I do want to start by saying West Virginia was number 3 with 198 people drafted out of West Virginia all time into the NFL. 198. They are number 3. Now remember, Notre Dame, they were like 500 and something.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I can find out real quick. They were 525. Notre Dame has 525 draft picks all time out of their school into the NFL. Notre Dame, Mike, 2 behind that. 523 was USC. And now the opposite end, we have West Virginia, 198. Mike, Penn State comes in first with 389 players drafted all time. Pitt, 327 players drafted all time. West Virginia, 198. So
Wow.
Penn State, Pitt, West Virginia.
Damn.
It wasn't surprised to me. That's about what I thought it was.
Yeah, but I know Pitt had some really dominant eras too.
Oh, we definitely had dog. And don't get me
you
wrong,
guys were like same thing with like Penn State. All of our really great glory was from years gone past.
oh my God, they're both in the 300s.
teams.
And this is not what I expected. This both of those teams being in the 300s.
Yeah.
West Virginia being in the 100s.
Yeah.
Again, the leaders all time are in the 500s.
Yeah.
This is pretty much where I placed them. I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect either team to be too much higher or too much lower. But that is the Mike 389 for Penn State. That is how many players have been drafted out of Penn State into the NFL. Richard says Penn State, West Virginia, and Pittsburgh on his picks. And then also Jen says, I love the merchandise. Get a 2 Yinzers sweatshirt. You won't regret it. Jen, looking good. She sent some pictures over the other day of her sweatshirt. She got a derpy, a boom shirt, and a 2 Yinzers
boom
hoodie. From what I saw, everything looks amazing. Jen, I'm still waiting on them pictures. She was promising us pictures the other day. Are they on Discord with the with her wearing the clothes?
I'm not sure.
No, that's not what's on the Discord.
Yeah,
You're jumping in. Listen, would you listen?
Listen.
I see pictures of the shirts, you ass, is what I'm saying. We want to see the pictures because Jen said she was going to wear them. Ryan sounds like somebody looking at divorce attorneys. This is definitely, yes, definitely. We definitely take some pictures, Jen. We'll put them up and post them and place them if you would like.
She has pictures from the jerk store. You jerk it, they will come.
Really?
Yeah. I forgot to check Discord yesterday, and I just now popped in trying to prove you wrong, and I got distracted. I saw foods and got distracted.
So you see how that works, Mike.
Don't forget, Bob Nothing.
Oh, here it is.
Pimping away, baby. We pimping away.
There it is. Get your Bob Nothing shirt. Also, do go check out all the cool stuff. There is some cool stuff over in the merchandise store. Go check it out. So, yes, Mike, Penn State, Pitt, West Virginia, Pirates back in action tonight out in California. I'm not expecting this to go well. Playing the Angels. Game 1 of 3, 9:38 start. We're 2 days away, just 2 days away from the NFL draft. Mike, just tomorrow will be the only full day, and then we'll be on draft day on Thursday. I cannot wait. Mike and Derpy and probably Finch, they will be doing a live stream Thursday night during the draft. So go hang out with the guys, check them out. I'm sure I'm going to pop in on the board from time to time. What else do I got, Mike? What else do I got? Oh, and we do want to give a big thank you. A big thank you to Makai Chavez stopping by. Of course, the National Conference WFA MVP of the 2024 season for the Pittsburgh Passion. Mike, she's a 10-year veteran in the WFA. She played many years in the Tampa Bay Inferno organization. Now in her 3rd season with the Passion. They start this Saturday, Mike. They go down to Tampa Bay to start their 3-game road series, road streak to start out their season. Then they come home for 3. So we will stay and cover them, Mike, more than ever before, because every year I fall more in love with this Pittsburgh Passion team. The more I learn about them, the more I see them, and I hope that maybe encourage some of our viewers to do the same. They are a lot of fun, especially because they're really good too. Yeah, you know, if you're trying to follow a team that don't really have a lot going on, it's kind of difficult. And almost like a bandwagon, when you find a good team and you jump on how fun and exciting that is, because they're winning and they win a lot. So if you like women and you like football, do check out the Pittsburgh Passion. this year. Jen says she actually has her sweatshirt on right now. That's so
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome, man. We appreciate that. Everything. Thank you so much. Mike, anything before we do get ready to wrap it up, brother?
No, man, it was a fun show, man. Thanks again to Makai. The board, you guys are awesome as always, man. It was a fun show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We do want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you as always. We want to say thank you to everybody that's on the board today. We appreciate you as well. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. As I said, you are just as important as we are, believe me. I want to say thank you to everybody that is watching it and listening at home. Anybody that's at work. I'm just watching this thing fly around now that it's warm out and we have the windows cracked at the studio.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the hell's going on. I just see a moth flying around, or I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a fly, whatever, but it's making me nuts.
You're a whack job.
Matter of fact, I forgot what I was talking. I'm so thrown off by this thing. I don't know what it is. It needs to be gone, but I seen it in my camera, and now I'm defeated.
Ryan's crashing out at the end of the
I'm
show.
defeated. So there you have it. But yes, everybody at home as well, or at work, or in the car, or at the gym. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes.
We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time, getting ready for this draft again. Mike, the big stream on Thursday night. Finch, Mike, Derpy coming up to cover the draft live, real time. We'll talk a little bit more about that leading up to. But Mike, speak now or forever hold your peace, brother.
I got nothing, man. Great show, everyone. I had a blast.
Absolutely. And again, one more time, thank you to Makai Chavez, number 11, the MVP quarterback of the Pittsburgh Passion. Great to talk to her. I was really excited to have her on today. Mike, if that's it for you, my friend, that's it for me. We're going to wrap things up. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. We hope everybody has a great Tuesday. Stay safe. I know it's warm. It's getting warm, Mike. Stay safe. Enjoy the weather. From Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio. For myself, the two dumb Yinzers. Everybody have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.